Good afternoon, member in the DAP, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sudeep Chatterjee from Indrops Global. We know the government has given us a target of producing 300 million ton by 2030. In the morning, we have talked about we need all the innovation to reach at a point. And we talk about the innovation, and the second point, which is very important, is the environment. So in the morning and in the second session, in the beginning, we talked about the hot zone in the steel making. We are into the cold rolling, which is, we have not talked about anything. So out of the 300 million ton which we are going to produce, approximately 1/3 will be the cold rolled, which approximately, let's take as 100 million ton. And we have talked about a lot of dust, a lot of slag coming out. But in the cold roll, there is a lot of waste acid or waste liquor. So each ton of pickled steel will be producing around 30 liters of waste pickled liquor. So if I am considering 100 ton, we will be producing around 3 billion liters of waste pickled liquor. 3 billion, which need per hour we need to 4 lakhs of waste acid to be treated, which is very huge. Right now we are processing all the steel mills around 1 to 1.2 lakh per hour. So what we are going to do? First of all, what is this waste pickled liquor? Why we are generating it? So when you do the cold rolling, before any process, we need to clean the surface of it, the surface treatment. Because in the morning we said a lot of about the texture, the surface treatment, how it needs to be done. So there is a rust in the scale, in the like a ferrous metal will form, because while doing the hot roll, when the temperature is high, it reacts an oxide on the surface of the scale. So we need to pass through that whenever, before doing any pickling, in the color coating, galvanizing, we need to do the pickle. So while this hot zone, this iron reacts with the oxygen and they form iron oxide, which is a rust. This oxide results from the oxidation of the oxygen which is there in the material of the hot roll. So we cannot avoid that. It has to be there. So prior to doing cold roll operation, we need this pickling. So this is the small side I have given the pickling process. This is the pickling process where the pickling tanks are there. These are the acid tanks where these rolls are, first uncoilers are there. This goes through these tanks, and after passing through the acid bath, it goes through the water, the rinsing section, and then dried, and then reverse coiled here. And then this coil is further treated in the color coating or galvanizing or wherever it is. So now the primary, which is the acid, is used, the hydrochloric acid, for pickling line. Earlier it used to be the sulfuric acid, but with the performance of the hydrochloric acid, the steel coating surface are become more efficient and more easier for the color coating. So nowadays almost like 98% of the cold rolling are using hydrochloric acid. So in this acid bath, the temperature is maintained like around 80 to 95%. I will not go through the more detail because the time is short. So finally this reactions takes place where these oxides react with HCl, and you have in the red right side the red color, which is the West Pickle liquor they is generated. This is only a iron chloride solution which needs to be treated, or basically this is like having the HCl which is converted to the ferric chloride, and you need to treat it before discharging because this is a hazardous liquor. And normally in the pickle liquor we are taking like 10 to 18% of hydrochloric acid, which is continuously fed to the acid, and the output which is coming out having HCl to 1 to 6%, ferric chloride solution like 25%, rest of the thing is the water. And this is the hazardous which have a pH value of 1 to 2. In normally this technology we are talking about it started like in 1960s, but in India we started implementing in late 1990s. So even still the smaller steel mills, they neutralize this waste acid, which is like a lot of sludge you generate, which needs to be landfilled and all, so which is very hazardous. So in this process, this is called the regeneration pyrohydrolysis method, in which this waste acid can be regenerated back to the HCl and can be reused again in the pickling line. So this is again, I'm giving you the balance of the acid flow. This is the pickling line, the pickling tank and the rinsing. This is the carbon steel strip which is going straight through. And this is the acid which is coming in, and the waste is generated here. Similarly, this is a rinsing section where the fresh water is taken, and this again water is coming in the waste section, and these two can be treated in this acid regeneration plant, and where we use this as like utilities. And there is a byproduct comes out, red iron oxide, which is a byproduct which can be sellable, and then you can regenerate the acid back, which goes to the pickle line. So it's kind of like 99% of the acid is recovered. You don't have to buy the fresh acid except the 1%. So this way the whole acid controlled in environment in the closed loop method. And this is the acid regeneration process, the whole process. I'll just go little small brief. We take this is called a Venturi scrubber, where this is concentrated to a higher level, and then it is sprayed to the roaster or reactor from the top, and then oxide falls down below, and it can be taken by pneumatic conveying to a storage bin and bagged and then sold to the market. And then the gas comes out containing the HCl, the hot gas, which pass through this Venturi scrubber, Venturi separator, and the hot gas moves out, which is kept by this fan. And this is the absorber. This is a packed column where the water is sprayed and you get HCl acid back. So I'll not go into the detail. So this is the reactions which take place in the roaster or reactor. This is the waste acid which is generated from the pickling line, and this is the water. This is the air, oxygen from the air in the combustion system used here, and this is iron oxide in the solid form falls down from the bottom, and the HCl in the gaseous form comes out of the roaster and absorbed in the absorber.
If any R&D point is there, if you can cover.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
We can close this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the things we have developed here. Like a lot of dust which goes out of the roaster, the fine dust. We design our Venturi in such a way that all this dust which is coming out of the reactor is again reacted with the HCl with the water form, and then again it converted to ferric chloride and again reused in the roaster. So our ppm level of the dust coming out of the stack is reduced. So that is one of the innovation we have done. And the oxide which comes out, we can control the quality of the oxide which is coming out, and that oxide is kind of a revenue generation. It can be sold as in the hard ferrite market, the soft ferrite and the color pigment market. And for per 6 to 7 liter of West Pickle liquor, we will be generating around 1 kg of oxide. So for 4 lakhs, it will be generating around 70 ton of oxide. So then next is the stack emissions. This is again where we have improved. We can bring down the chlorine level less than 5 ppm. The pickling line with ARB consumes around 0.8 kg of HCl per ton of steel pickled compared to 30 kg of acid for 1 ton of pickled steel. So you can see huge reduction in the acid consumption. So major contributions, I am not going through that, but one thing is that this is like an environment protection plant. So if you are going to compare with the economic, this is not going to work. Like you need to spend, and that spend is very less. For this kind of plant, for 1 ton of pickled steel, it costs 200 to 300 rupees per ton. So where you are selling a roll around like 40,000, I don't think this price is anything when you are talking about environment. So this is kind of like a zero liquid discharge, the value added to the iron oxide production where you are getting. This is the efficient way of running the pickle line, and you can use the rinse water also. So my company is Inrox. We are the pioneer in design and supply and installation of this. These are the few of our plant photos. We can build, own and operate the plant. We are doing it in Maharashtra for different steel mills, for the smaller mills who cannot, for the economic purpose, they cannot put up their own. At present, we have in the sale Bokaro we have given.
If you can just.
Yeah, I'm just summing.
Time. The corporate presentation we can share later on because the time is.
Yeah, I just finished. Yeah, this is our plan. That's enough. Thank you. If anybody, we have the stall.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very nice. Yeah. Because zero discharge has become a major headache for all the cold rolling mills.